I think we're set to go today.
Yes.
So we're back with Times 3 at the West Hollywood Silver Spoon. And we have our two gentlemen back together again. Harry took a day off and we had to fill in. The famous super agent, Howie Rapp, filled in for Harry.
And he was pretty good too. We were thinking of, actually we don't want to say this to you, but we were thinking of altering the show a little bit, but then we figured no.
Yeah, I mean
we might as well stick with Harry.
Well, we got some good stories.
We started with Harry. I believe the person you started with, you stay with, you stick it out.
Yeah, he gets
I called
loyalty.
Don after I came back from San Luis Obispo and I said, have I been replaced?
You just had my 50th wedding anniversary and that's sticking it out.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean,
You've got to stick things out. You've got to finish things.
Well,
Sarah Palin made a big mistake. She walked away from that mayor's job.
and the governor's job.
Was she governor already? She never was mayor.
Yes, she was mayor of Wasilla.
Wasilla.
Then she was the governor. She walked away from that job.
And she was a basketball player.
Yeah.
She made love with Glenn Rice, the NBA superstar. And she,
Now that's just a rumor, isn't it?
no, she said it. But why
was she
would
married
you be,
at the time?
I don't know. But she was a radio announcer, sportscaster. But why would you vote for a quitter? You wouldn't vote for a quitter. But let's get back to something more important.
What's more what?
You want somebody who sticks with things. But here's what I want to say to you.
Yes.
Thanks to you and Maven, and a special thanks to Amy for the celebration at the Chateau Marmar Penthouse Suite Saturday night. It was one of the greatest events that I've ever been to. I've been to a lot of rap parties, movies, TVs, but that was one of the greatest. Everything was perfect. Your daughter set everything up perfect, and you and Maven and all of the talent. Singers, comedians.
And we were the first ones that they allowed to pay it out.
Well, you didn't pay.
We pay it out. We got to pay $1,000 a month
For the next 20 months.
for the next 50 years.
Yeah.
Before the next anniversary party.
Yeah, 20 easy payments of $1,000 a month. That was that.
So lovely. You were incredible as the host. The stories you told, the jokes, the way you got people in off. As David said, it was like you were back at the Copa, and your wife, she was strutting and singing. She was so beautiful and vital. You know, she was incredible. Amy looked spectacular, and her husband was great.
And the genius photographer.
Yeah.
Hey, I was there too.
Painter,
Yeah.
He
rock
looked
and roll
dapper
musician.
too, huh?
You know how many titles this man has, David Glover? He's he had a band,
Nightclub.
Yes.
nightclub. He had an advertising agency.
Radio guy.
He's a genius artist. He had a radio show. And what else? Anything else?
Commercials, producer,
can
right?
say?
You're a
That's
producer.
right. Jingle
And
commercials.
things we can't say because the statute of limitations have not run out.
Not yet, but they will soon, and then we
But
can
he has
reveal
been
the
so-
other.
And what a life he's led. I mean, the stories.
Imagine a guy who's gotten away with all different type of crimes, and he has a list of the statute of limitations.
Yeah.
And he waits for the
Two more months to go, and I'm a free man.
I'll get him.
Yeah.
I know one thing: if you're going to murder somebody, don't ever tell anybody about it.
Well, especially the guy you're going to murder, because
So if you say, I'm going to murder that guy and then he's dead, they'll
how
come
could
look
you
for you.
murder anybody? Jesus Christ.
Wow.
When you think of what a woman has to do to give birth to that creature, and you have to go and destroy it.
Yeah, but you know, it's funny that that's a vernacular for comedians. I mean, you know, you killed him. Oh, I murdered that audience last night.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I laid him out dead. You know, and it's
You didn't
amazing.
murder him. You sent him to the hospital for 3 weeks.
I like when I get him to a point, because I'm being drawn up from the Catskill Mountains. Once you get them rolling, you don't stop for a second, and you can see them trying to find a spot.
Yeah, to breathe.
Really,
I like that.
It's really, really wonderful.
Well, that's that DVD you gave me about one of your ship performances, and I was sitting there really like 43 minutes. You just had me laughing one after another. It was relentless. When it was totally over, and then you went off stage, you came back on stage, you just wouldn't quit. I was like totally exhausted. I was like,
Yeah.
it just wore me out, but it was like I felt so good because it was so joyful.
Yeah.
You know? And here's one thing that I wish I would have said, you know, at the party the other night. I wanted to say one thing about Don is two things I admire about him among many other things. One is your intellectual curiosity and also your good-heartedness. you really are a good-hearted person, which is rare in this town. And everybody there,
Yeah.
that party was just so full of love. All of your friends over the years.
It was nice. Well, they didn't have to pay any of the bill. I got that $1,000 a month for the next.
There you go. Yeah,
You
it's
didn't
ticking
either.
away.
No, it was
either,
nice.
right?
It was a nice, whole bunch of friends, and you know, like usually a party like that, I've noticed it breaks off into little groups.
Oh, that's right.
And
Yeah.
they go off, and it never congeals. You know, because some people don't know other people. Most of the people there really knew each other.
Yeah, for the most part, I think. Yeah. Now there were some I didn't recognize because they've been just back from the surgeon, and they look 20 years younger. But I mean, that was okay.
Yeah, well, this is
I thought, who the heck was that? You know, I was talking to, and oh, don't you remember her?
how can anybody go through a surgery just like I can understand you got a serious malfunction on your face or something, but
Yeah.
just for like just take crow's feet under the eye,
Yeah, a little sculpting here
cut
and
up
there.
your skin, and
Yeah.
I like to see people grow old naturally. You know, I had like a benign tumor removed right here, and the guy said, "I'm going to do it like a facelift. I'm going to go in here and cut it out." And then after it was over, he looked at it and he said, "Wow, what a perfect scar."
Yeah, well, you know, surgeons are into their scar work. You
That
know.
was a good job I did.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
And after, you know, I was in the hospital, I had a cone-shaped thing, and he came in to visit me, and everything was fine. He looked like an angel. You know, you get so scared when you go through something, but thank God it was okay. But I didn't enjoy that, and then I felt bad afterwards. But it's part of life, you know. We go through things, and
I'm the same way. I can't stand it, and the Army put me in the medics.
Okay.
And at first, they couldn't keep me there too long because they show you films about stomachs and kept throwing up and God. And you know they give you in basic training, they keep you up all the time. You don't sleep that much. And so we didn't have a good night's sleep. The next day we had a hypodermic class. And they have a guy, one thing they don't have in the Army with all their missiles on, they don't have guys that can read from a manual. You know, sometimes they don't know the subject, the guy can't even read, you know. So one of those guys has been in the Army for 20 years. And he's talking about life and death things, you know. And after about half hour, I didn't understand what he was talking about. Everybody, somebody hands me a hypodermic needle. Everybody's in a circle, and everybody's got a hypodermic needle. He's okay. Now everybody stick it in the guy to your right.
Oh,
And stick what?
I turned around
Just the
and I looked at this guy, this poor guy, and I stuck it in, and I panicked. I just left it there. I wouldn't take it out. It was hanging there. And they came over, and a couple more incidents like that, and I was in special services telling jokes.
remember, I got 17 shots in 2 days at boot camp. Then you had to go out and work with a piece.
17 shots?
Yeah. And then your arms are sore, but you still have to do all those things. Remember, in the Navy, we had to do a 16-count manual with our piece.
Yeah.
So there's a guy I joined the Navy with, a little guy named Shorty from Green River, Wyoming. And so he had a little kind of, you know, rooster type of haircut, you know, even though it was crew cut. So he went and made 17 counts, right? He didn't come to whatever that end thing is, 16. The chief warrant officer got off the podium, came over, he picked the guy up by his ears. He says, "I'll teach you to make 17 counts out of the 16-count manual, you little shitbird." And he picked him up by his ears off of the ground.
My God.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it.
Well, that's gotta hurt.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear anymore. Yeah.
You look at like the guy's God that's telling you all those things. I never got one bit of trouble in the Navy, you know.
Oh, you have that propensity for going invisible, right?
No,
You can disappear into the woodwork.
Well, discipline. I like to do.
I drove them crazy. I drove them up to a point where they were ready to put me in a brig, and then calm down. I came up with that joke, and they'd laugh and say, no use with you. Boy.
I was a radioman. I enjoyed but I didn't really like. It was the lonely. Here you are with all these men. It was the loneliest part of my life. You know, you'd be with all these guys. Thank God I did it. I learned discipline. I went to college.
Was there a war going on when you were in?
No, I went in from 58 to 61. It was right before the Cuban crisis. You know. May I do one thing, Don? Here's one poem that I wanted to read at your place, but I didn't want to do more than one. I'd just like to read this poem.
Well, wait a minute. You know, Harry, I want to straighten something out. right now. When you ask a person a question, aren't you assuming that he's going to answer your question?
Well, yeah, but it's yes or
You
no.
constantly say, "Oh, okay." Do you mind? You don't notice that he has a habit of doing that.
Yeah,
you know?
that's right. He doesn't wait for the answer, you know.
Yeah. Do you mind hearing this? And he goes ahead and does it, and you stand like a schmuck.
Yeah.
But did he mind? Did he want my opinion or not? So, in the future,
Just do it.
no, just do it, or wait for the guy's answer. It's a half a second. I'm going to say yes or no. Suppose the guy didn't want to hear it.
Okay.
Okay, ask the question again. Let's.
Well, now I forgot the question. Nah, it's,
No, yeah, we forgot it, but Harry didn't forget it.
The joke is that he forgets it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I left the thing, and the next day after something, I don't know about you, you feel a
He's
little.
not doing what you said. Is he doing what you said?
No.
That means he was not listening.
I listened to you.
No,
Would
that
you
means he
mind
was
if I
not
read
listening
the
to
poem
what-
to you?
Oh, there's our question.
Do you? What'd you say?
Would you mind if I read a poem that I wanted to read at the chateau the other night, but I thought I should just read one poem?
Do I mind if you read? Of course not.
Thank you.
I love it. Oh,
This is for you and Maven, okay?
Okay.
It's also
Maven is my wife, in case they don't know.
it's also in a way about David and Judy also, but since it was your 50th, I'll read it to you.
Give it to me.
It's called Our Hearts. The blue path falls down, sprinkled with golden threads, liveliness, love, a pointing to the mouth to be kissed, a circle of gold and a patch of lavender. For our hands are always apart and reaching toward each other. The long line of gold on the horizon, parallel to the youthful highway, circle of gold around the trees, a lone saxophone player on a swing, and the golden arrow cuts into blood. Waiting with emerald hearts, a long golden worm curves. A ship in blood and sky thou hast asked, strands of light above the head, and wagon, jagged half circle of light, mask, mouth, endurance, thankfulness, up on a cliff, royal blue nest, straight down fast, furious light, the patterns have met and gone home. Mask, triangle, arrow, rectangle, like a train across the horizon, an early ladder down, light, sky, earth. Close to its axis, our hands turn, drill and cross and pummel and revolve, trains beside the long blue train, and knives thrust upward, surrounded by thousands of trees. The rushing leaves forward, solitude past, anguish, waves rushing up and returning, tree, plain, clearing. Blue waters curl, fall, a golden path resides in our hearts, circles above the clouds, punches, thunders, here's a single man amidst all the dead. Feathers thrown from the sky, sunflower wheels, prairie, smoke, corn, scythe revolving, path through the corn, light strikes, golden path.
You like gold, a lot of gold in your poems.
Well, it's.
Well, we're getting close to eternity.
Didn't you read that at your reading
Yeah,
in
I
Pasadena?
think so.
Because
yeah.
I recall some of that. Yeah,
Right.
I remembered it.
I do. Yeah, I remembered some of the imagery.
That
You know.
is truly a tribute.
Thank you. Well, you're Maven, a loving couple. David and Judy are too. Holly and I are. We're thankful. I also, to get back to talking, you were talking earlier about David, and you were dressed elegantly, and David had that beautiful suit on with a beautiful light yellow tie and the hanky, matching
Foulard,
hanky.
yeah.
You look great. He's always, both of you guys are always very dapper.
Very observant.
Yeah, matter of fact, we were talking about doing something for you as far as how you dress and how you look.
Your choice.
Yeah, I don't know how you remembered all those details.
Well, his poems are all the details. You gotta string all.
Well, yeah, that's true. You got to observe.
I've noticed a tremendous fascination with gold.
Well, you know what happened? I worried about that a little bit, but it's like I get up in the middle of the night and I write these poems, and those were the things that come to me. So I just try to have a sense of fidelity to the images that come to me and write them down. And they were somewhat painterly, and I worried about it that it could even be more specific. I tried to be as specific as I could when you're getting things from the unconscious, you know. I mean, here's what I always wonder about, David. When you're doing a painting and you have to settle on one image, right? Because we're constantly getting these images through our mind. And then you see it, and then you have to be accurate to your vision, right?
Exactly, you do. It's the probably the hardest part of the process is to settle on what that image will be, which you probably find in writing.
I mean, for finding out what you want to paint, there's so many things to paint.
Yes, because you have to invest a lot of time into that image.
There's a book I recommend anybody who wants to be a writer, The Art of Dramatic Writing by Lejos Idri. And the first line says, if you want to write, write.
Right, that's right. You got it. That's correct.
Don't study writing.
No
write.
excuses.
Just do it.
Well, John, Downey Sr., he had a film titled "No Excuses." You know, you hear people.
I remember that film. Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. No excuses. Here's one image that I had for my last book. I never did, but I had kept having this image of a black panther and then a sunflower growing out of that panther. But I always loved that image too. You know, panthers are beautiful. You know.
Where's it growing out of the front or the back?
Well, like you see the panther going from like right to left, and then the sunflower coming out of its mid body. You know.
But do you recall it used to be very popular in the 50s, was those ceramic panthers with the jeweled eyes, and you put them on the top of your television set?
Yes, we got one.
Yeah? Do you still have one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had two of them. We had the black one and the green one.
Curving around.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that was so 50s. That everybody had to have one.
What is your favorite area of painting these days? Your beautiful landscapes? Or
on the canvas still.
No.
Yeah, that's right.
No.
On the canvas.
Joke, Harry.
Landscape,
It's a
yeah.
little break from the logic. Joke is a break from the logic, you know. So much logic, people can't think too much logic.
Yeah, well.
Occasionally you give them a break.
Yeah. You roll them a softball.
So carefully, that they don't hear the break.
All right, well, we've just come to an end of our show. Is there any last words for the day?
Last words I don't like the
my
last
turn.
words. Go ahead.
Yeah. What would be your last word, Harry?
Humility.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because we all get humbled, and yet
And we never hear from you again.
no,
You're too humble.
There's like balance.
But humility's a great.
Humility, because
Humility,
that's what as like somebody asked me in an interview one time. He said, "What have you
No,
learned?"
this
I
is the
said,
ending of the show.
"You see,
The show just ended, Harry. We were saying goodbye. Go ahead.
Well, I have so much humility, I'm damn proud of it.
Well, he said to me, "What have you learned?" I said, "Well, I learned I have sought wisdom, but I learned humility." Right?
Okay, with that word,
Humility is wisdom.
let's say goodbye, gentlemen.
Okay, how do you say it? Goodbye.
Goodbye, David, and God bless you.
Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim. Yeah, become Tiny Tim.
Okay.
Okay, so long.